Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm your host, Megro31, and we've got Dover this week, and we've got rain. Just the Northeast is just lots and lots of precipitation. Luckily, the weather for Dover this week doesn't look, not this week, but today on Saturday doesn't look too bad, but qualifying and practice was rained out. So they used their little magical formula based on Talladega race. So everything's all shook up. It gives us a lot of chalk plays and a lot of good plays in the back and a lot of fades up top. So let's look at this slate and break it on down. Parker Klingerman in the Big Machine Racing gets the pole here. I think it's a GPP, probably going to be low owned also. Really doesn't have a ton of experience here at this track in Xfinity. Overall, in Truck Series, he has 3 races, 1 top 10, 10th place average finish. Can he get out early and lead some laps here? Potentially. There's 200 of them. It's the Monster Mile, so it's 1 mile track. So there will be some dominator points up for grabs. But I really think Cole Custer, the guy that's starting second, if you're looking for an early dominator, will be the one to get out there. In Xfinity races, 6 races here, 1 win, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, has led 224 laps here, and average finish of 5.3. So I think Custer's a strong play. If there wasn't so much place differential and he actually qualified up here, I'd definitely give him the prime tag. But I think if you're looking for an early dominator, I think he's definitely in the mix here. Sheldon Creed here at starting third, 8,100. I think it's a GPP. It's raced here once in Xfinity, finished 8th, which isn't bad, but he just has a propensity to find trouble. He's done good at similar tracks. Darlington ran pretty well here. His overall composite on these style of tracks is 21st, though, for these kind of like shorter intermediate tracks with some banking. So that makes him a GPP for me. Jeb Burton, I think he's starting way too far forward here. I mean, these Jordan Anderson cars did so well at the plate tracks, and I think that's going to be one of their fortes. But he and Parker Retzliff, who I have discounted so many times when he's qualified well and he's kind of hung around. But I just think looking at their statistics, that I don't know if they can remain in the top 5 here. So I think that's kind of risky. So they're going to be both GPPs for me. Austin Hill, I think DraftKings thinks this is a plate track at 11.3. That is just, or like Kyle Busch is driving the car. That's just an egregiously high price for him. Yes, his like data, his 3rd overall in this type of track, but he's only raced here once in Xfinity, 14th place overall. His truck was pretty good, but again, this is not a truck. So I think that he's GPP here. I mean, could he make his way up top and lead laps and win the race? Potentially. You know, he's been in great form this year, but I'm not paying 11.3 to find out, because he really needs to get up there and lead a lot of laps and stuff to pay off his price tag. And I'm not paying that much to find out. Maybe in a GPP, not in cash. Josh Williams had a really good, solid race, and he was one of my plays last week. Wasn't a prime play, but I definitely had it as a cash play for Talladega, and he did well. However, he's starting way too far forward here. His average 6 races here, no top 10s, 24th overall finishing position. So no thank you today, Josh Williams. Brandon Jones, great car, great team, good price, 8,700, probably because he's kind of volatile, but his overall composite is 7th. His average running position in every single race that's comparable, Dover, National, Darlington, Richmond this year, has been in the top 10. So I think he's definitely in play here. He's got 1 top 5, 5 top 10s, his led laps, but he's only finished 2/3 of the race. So 8 out, he's failed to finish 4 of them. So I think you can play him in cash here, just because his team and his upside, but he's a borderline GPP play. Brandon Poole, again, another guy that had a great day at Talladega, avoided trouble, but I know he's raced 5 races here and had 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s and a 10th overall finishing position. But I do think that those are outliers. And I just looking at how he did at Darlington, how he did at Richmond in this JD Motorsports car, I can't play him here. He's starting way too far forward, so here's another fade. Chandler Smith, I think this Collie car has had a good season. We've seen him out there leading and everything. I have him as a cash play. I don't know if, I love him with some of the other similar guys that have great place differential that are coming up that we're going to talk about. He did really well at Richmond, so this guy could be a really good sleeper today. He ran Dover race last year and had an 18.5 average running position, 21st place finish. So that's not spectacular, but in 9,600, the pricing is a little bit high. But I think, again, if he runs as well as he did at Richmond here, then he could definitely be a dark horse today. Riley Herbst, not its best type of track, 10th overall in composite. So, it's an 11th overall finish, 3 top 10s. So, if you're looking for like last guy in cash or somebody that's vanilla, kind of like Alex Bowman, where it just kind of hangs around and can finish where he starts, I think that, he might be in play as last man in cash or GPP, but I don't see a ton of upside with Herbst here today. Ryan Truex, he's looked fast in this car. This is the all-star car for Gibbs, and he's running a couple weeks in a row. So there's getting to get some continuity with the team and everything. So it's not like, a rotating door there. Doesn't have a ton of experience here recently, but 6 races overall, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, has finished every single race and has led some laps. So I think he's in play in cash also. But again, I think he's not going to have a lot of ownership because of all the people are going to take the place differential. So if this turns into a race where there is weather and it gets choppy with like caution flags and stuff, like we saw with the truck race at maybe it was Richmond a couple of weeks ago, and nobody could pass because there wasn't a long enough run, then maybe these 2 guys in like Smith and Truex will be like smash plays if they can stay up there. If these place differential plays people are going to pay for aren't going to pan out. So that's just some game theory here. I'm not necessarily saying that is what's going to happen to race or that you have to play these guys, but it might not be bad to start a lineup, just one GPP lineup with like a Jones, like Smith and Truex, just in case some of these guys that from the back can't make it up front, and you're paying like over 10K and they're just not going to pay off their price tag. Derek Haas, his car looked pretty fast, but they didn't have any practice here, so I gotta have him as GPP. And again, I think it could be another dark horse. 2 races here in the Truck Series, 2 top 10s with it, 9th overall finish. But again, this is an Xfinity car. It's a little bit different. So I think that he is somebody to keep your eye on, but not somebody that's a priority. Brett Moffitt, usually, Brett Moffitt whisperer. I usually play him when I think he's going to be good, but here I think he's starting a little bit too far forward. Okay history here, 12th overall finish, 1 top 10. He's led a couple of laps, but I don't think anything spectacular today. So 8,300 GPP. Again, if he's the last guy in your lineup, fine with it, but I wouldn't make him a priority. Jeremy Clements, I think it'll be low ownership. I think people think he's starting too far forward here in my projection model. Did terrible at Dover last year. 20th overall in 23 races, 20th overall finish, which is, he's starting a little bit too far forward for his average. So not really interested this week. Daniel Hemrick, I think you can play him in cash. 6th overall composite average at this track. Hasn't been bad. 7 races, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, led some laps, 7th overall finish. So, there's somebody that's a little bit better play than Smith and Truex potentially if you look at like a big sample size of history here. But if you're looking for like young gun upside, then the other two are definitely, because Hemrick has only won 1 race in his career, and can have a good day, but usually doesn't dominate race. Greg Galding, another guy that I was high on last week, and if he didn't get spun out at the end, I would have had an amazing day at Talladega instead of just a solid day. So starting way too far forward here, so going to cross him off the list. Justin Allgaier is probably my favorite play on the slate here. If you look at like his numbers here at Dover, 2.4 average running position, National 2.3 average running position, Darlington 3, Richmond 8. He's got the #1 overall composite average for track style and #1 rank if I put everything all together. 22 races here, 2 wins, 11 top 5s, 15 top 10s, leads the most laps, 4% DNF rate, 9 overall finish. I think, he's my favorite play. First play going to be in my cash play. Josh Perry will be the second one in with me. He looked really great last Dover race here. Looked really good at Richmond. 5th overall in composite. In only 2 races here, he's got 1 win, 2 top 5s, led laps. Actually, he's led the highest percentage of laps based on how many laps he's actually run at this track here, and has a 1.5 overall finish average. So love me some Josh Berry here also. Ryan Sieg, I think you can play him in cash, 14th overall. RSS Racing is a decent team. 8K is not a bad price. Medium ownership. I think he can move up about 5 positions. Joe Graff's always a fade for me. Too volatile. Always finds a wreck. 37th at Richmond, like 24th overall. 29th in composites. Just can't do him. John Hunter Nemechek, think he'll be very popular down here in chalky. I don't have his prime play, just his cash play. I'd prefer Allgaier and Berry over him. 6 races here in the Truck Series, 18th overall finish, 3 top 10s. He just seems to find trouble also sometimes. And for 10-5, he's really, I can see Allgaier and Berry making their way up to the top and leading this race. But with the 2 of them in front of him and other, like potentially Austin Hill up there and Custer, I just don't know if Nemechek can do it. So I'm leaving him as a cash play, but I don't think he's a priority for me. Maybe you're more of a Toyota person and Joe Gibbs Racing, and it's something that you would maybe he's the one. So if you want to play him, that's fine, but I'm not probably going to have him, maybe throw him a GPP line. CJ McLaughlin, I think I started way too far forward here for me, so he's a fade. Sam Mayer, I think it's going to be another popular one down here. 88's not a bad price tag for him. 4th overall composite average for like all the tracks you look at. Struggled a little bit at Richmond, but his other numbers at similar tracks are good. 1 race here, finished 5th. So again, not a huge sample size for me to make him a prime play, but I think he's a solid cash play. Kyle Sieg's a GPP here. 1 race here, didn't really do well, but if I look at other similar tracks like Nashville and Darlington, Richmond this year wasn't horrible, but his overall composite average of similar tracks is 28 finishing positions. So if you need some value, I'm okay for you to throw him in there, but I think he's more of a GP than a cash play. Casgrel, I like better in cash here. He's had 3 races here, finished 25th. So, if he can finish where he starts, has a little bit of upside. Richmond, he looked really good, was running in the top 10 most of the day. But his overall composite average for these types of tracks is 24th. But I still think, he might be priced in no man's land, but I think he's a solid cash play if you can get to him. Garrett Smithley, I think he's starting a little bit too far forward here. So he's a GPP, but his numbers look like he could finish where he starts. And if you need a value at 5,100, then I think, he's a a decent play also. Sammy Smith will probably have a ton of ownership because he's the best car, the farthest back here of the regular drivers. Couldn't find really a lot of track history here. In similar tracks, he's like 15th. So, I mean, it's about 10 to 13 place differential points, and he's run well this season. So I think at 8,800, he definitely is another cash play you can consider in building your lineup. It's gonna be hard to get all these guys in, and again, like Allgaier and Berry gonna be my priorities, but Sammy Smith would definitely be under consideration with Sam Mayer as another person to put in. Ryan Ellis, I think another, and Raja Karuth, I think are just another, these Alpha Prime cars, I think are other cash plays that you can throw in there. I know that their average finish here aren't great, but the guys behind them, there's a lot of questionable cars. I think they'll have low ownership, but you're going to need some cash plays to try to get some of these multiple 10K guys into your lineups. Ellis has had a little bit more experience here and 22nd overall. And Raja 28th. He's a younger guy, but like I said, Alpha Prime, they're solid cars. And if you need some value plays, I think they can definitely probably get you about the 3x that you need, get around 20 DK points, and help you round out your lineup. Anthony Alfredo, he's always GPP for me. Because if you look at most of his statistics, they were in the on-point car or in, a much better car previously. And now he's in the BJ McLeod car, which is just not super reliable. And 7,600 is a hard price tag. Petra Emmerling, again, I kind of like Ellis and Kruth in the Alpha Primes better than him. He's a GPP to a fade, probably finish towards the back. But, if you need some pricing relief, I understand it. I like Jeffrey Earnhardt, another Alpha Prime car, much better. Again, a solid program. So this is Tommy Joe Martin's team, and we used to play Tommy Joe Martin in these situations because his car's reliable and that he had a cheap price and that he would just do what we needed him to do. And I think that's fine. Chad Chastain, Ross Chastain's brothers, is another interesting one. This DGM car, I was surprised it actually was qualified without the qualifying. But again, not a ton of experience in Xfinity Series, 24th overall average when he has raced. So if you want to take a shot on him at GP, it's fine. I do like Kyle Rutherford down here. He's not in his new team because they probably wouldn't have qualified here with the rain, but he's in the R Motorsports car, the number 2, which is really good equipment. I think R's done a really good job shedding all the extra teams and focusing on one. So I think he's definitely can go no place. But up here, I debated between him and Heim. The next guy is the prime play down here. And Heim got it just simply because he's just been absolutely amazing in the truck series. And he's got 15th overall composites and track styles like this between Xfinity races. He's run a few of them in truck. And I think at 6,800 in the Sam Hunt Racing team, which is pretty much a subsidiary of Joe Gibbs Racing, kind of like 2311 is of Joe Gibbs in Cup. I think it's great equipment. I think he's a good driver. I think he's starting way too far back here to not do well. And he only really needs to get to top 20 or so to pay off his price tag. So I don't think he's going to win the race, but I think he can definitely get up into top 20, potentially top 15. Timmy Hill's a fade for me because this car can never qualify. When they do have qualifying, it's too slow. It breaks down too much. And again, I don't really see the upside. And Stefan Parsons, if you want to play, the last place car, because he can't go backwards at all. But I'd so much rather take Weatherman or Heim over him. So that's what I got for you. Like I said, I'm going to be focusing in the mid-range here on Allgaier and Berry. I think I love their upside here. Again, Nemechek will be popular. Sammy Smith and Mayer and other cash plays further on back here. If you're looking for an early dominator, I think Custer would be it, potentially Hill. Some dark horses, again, if weather is an issue and it's a choppy race and a start and stop, or it's hard to pass, or if they're using rain tires or something, and nobody can pass, then like, you know, these guys that are already up there in the mid range, you can build a nice lineup with like Brandon Jones, Chandler Smith, and Ryan Truex. So that's what I got for you. I'll be back this evening or early tomorrow morning with the Cup video. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. Hit me up at MegaRuler31 on Twitter. And as always, if these videos help you, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel. We're so close to 4,200. I think we're just a couple people away. So maybe you could be the one to help us hit that milestone as we continue to climb up with subscribers. It's been so thankful for all of you who have watched these videos and subscribed and given us likes, and it's really helping us out, and hopefully we're helping out with the content we're putting out. And by you continuing to like and share and subscribing to our channel, it continues to help us provide these for you. So great relationship between both of us. And if you want more information on FSi DFS, it is in the description of the video. So thanks again for watching. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully the rain holds off. Stay dry and safe wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.